April 2026, King Power Stadium. Leicester City are relegated in back-to-back seasons. This didn't have to happen. Harry Winks trudges off the pitch. He needed security escort to get out of the stadium. Outside, the fans won't go home. Back-to-back relegations. 3 tiers in a decade. 10 years ago, this club were Premier League champions. 5,000 to 1 outsiders. The greatest sporting shock the game has ever seen. How does something like that end up here? It starts with a man who gave this city everything. It ends with a club that lost sight of what that meant. This is what happened in between. The man who built this is the reason the collapse hits as hard as it does. Vichai Srivaddhanaprabha bought Leicester City in 2010 for £39 million. They'd just come up from League One. His first act as owner was to write off £103 million of debt, not over time. That week. Free buses to away games, free beer on his birthday, £1 million to Leicester Royal Infirmary twice. With no press release, no announcement, no ask for anything in return. Buddhist monks blessed the pitch before every home game. Vichai prayed with them. Most owners treat a football club like a portfolio. Vichai treated it like somewhere he belonged. On July 13, 2015, the club appointed Claudio Ranieri. After 4 decades of management, he had never won a league title. Gary Lineker's response was one tweet. He also promised that if Leicester won the title, he'd present Match of the Day in his underpants. The squad Ranieri inherited had cost next to nothing. Vardy from non-league, Mahrez for £400,000 from a French club almost nobody had heard of. Kanté for £5.6 million. By November, Vardy was doing this. Scoring in his 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th consecutive Premier League game, breaking a record that had stood for 13 years. By Christmas, they were top. By February, the football world had stopped pretending. On the 2nd of May 2016, Hazard scored for Chelsea against Spurs in what became known as the Battle of the Bridge. Spurs couldn't overhaul Leicester. Vardy and the squad watched it at his house. When it was confirmed, the place erupted. Leicester City were Premier League champions. Gary Lineker presented Match of the Day in his boxer shorts as promised. If you're enjoying this, hit subscribe. There's a lot more where this came from. Vichai gave every member of the squad a BMW sports car. That's who he was. Remember every word of that, because what follows is the opposite of all of it. 9 months after delivering the impossible, Ranieri was gone. The title defense fell apart from the start. Kanté left for Chelsea for £32 million. He was the engine of everything Ranieri had built, and they didn't replace him. £60 million went on 3 summer signings. None of them worked. At the time, nobody thought it was terminal. They were still in the Champions League, still a force it would turn around. It didn't. By February, they were 1 point above the drop. The board gave Ranieri a public vote of confidence on the 7th. On the 22nd, they lost 2, one in Sevilla. Vardy had scored an away goal. There was still a chance. The next morning, Ranieri was gone. Multiple reports pointed to the same thing. Senior players had gone to the board and asked for his removal, 9 months after he'd won them the title. His statement the next day. Yesterday my dream died. After the euphoria of last season and being crowned Premier League champions, all I dreamt of was staying with Leicester City, the club I love, for always. He didn't go after a single player, didn't name anyone. Walked away with his dignity completely intact. 3 weeks later, those same players beat Sevilla 2-0 at the King Power. Schmeichel saved a penalty. Leicester were in the Champions League quarterfinals. The same players, the same system, different manager. Think about what that means. In October 2018, Vichai died. His son Ayawat inherited the chairmanship, willing, committed, wealthy. But not his father, nobody was his father. Rodgers arrived in 2019 and rebuilt the club. 2 top 5 finishes, the FA Cup, Champions League qualification missed on the final day on goal difference. But it was all built on something that was quietly giving way. And then the pandemic shut down every airport in the world. King Power is a duty-free business. It exists because people fly. When the planes stopped, the money stopped. In 2019, King Power's revenue was 38.5 billion Thai baht. By 2020, it was Thai baht 8.1 billion. By 2021, Thai baht 1.6 billion, 1/20th of where it had been. The money backing Leicester's ambition had gone. The club kept spending as if it hadn't. This is where everything quietly started to break. To understand how badly they got it wrong, you have to understand what they got right. For 5 years after the title, Leicester had a model that worked brilliantly. Find undervalued players, get the best out of them, sell at a massive profit, reinvest. Kanté bought for £5.6 million, sold for £32 million. Mahrez bought for £400,000, sold to Manchester City for £60 million. Maguire bought for £17 million, sold to Manchester United for £80 million. Chilwell, an academy product, sold to Chelsea for £50 million. Every single one of those sales funded the next version of the squad. That conveyor belt is what made Leicester sustainable. The system was the point. Then in summer 2021, they stopped selling. Less than £4 million came in. Over £60 million went out. This decision would come back to destroy them. But in the summer of 2021, it looked like ambition. This is the moment everything stops making sense. The model that had kept them alive was abandoned at the exact moment the owner's revenues had collapsed. Both things happening simultaneously. By September 2022, Leicester were bottom of the Premier League. They just lost 1-0 to Manchester United. Rodgers stood in front of the cameras and said this: "With the greatest respect, we have not had the help in the market this team needed. But this isn't the club that it was 2 years ago. That's the reality." His own manager, in public, telling the world his board had stopped backing him. March 2023, 2 points above the drop. And now their best player is on Twitter arguing with a journalist about whether the club are in trouble. That's not confidence. That's a club that has lost the plot. Rubbish. Watch and analyze the game properly, and stop writing headlines like that, which you know makes fans pile on with negativity. Play like that, and we'll be absolutely fine. They won 2 more games all season. Rodgers was sacked in April. Too late. Maddison went to Spurs for £40 million that summer. He was playing Premier League football the following August, while Leicester were in the Championship. The Premier League's financial rules cap losses at £105 million over 3 seasons. For Leicester, because of their championship season, the limit was £81 million. Their actual losses across the 3 years to 2024, £200 million. In the summer of 2024, 4 players left on free transfers: Evans, Tielemans, Soyuncu, and Perez. Between them, worth an estimated £40 to £50 million on the market, Leicester received nothing. They came straight back up in 2024 under Enzo Maresca, who Chelsea immediately poached the moment promotion was confirmed. Under Ruud van Nistelrooy the following season, Leicester went 9 consecutive home Premier League games without scoring. 9. The 6-point deduction arrived in February 2026. It moved them from 17th to 20th in the Championship, above the relegation zone only on goal difference. They never got out. One supporter got close enough to say it directly to the chairman: "This is a football club that we love, and it's down in League One. We just want to know what's going on." Ayawat's response was a statement: "As chairman, that responsibility sits with me. There are no excuses. We have experienced the highest highs and now the lowest lows. That's the real story. Not the PSR breach, not the points deduction, not the managers. A club that forgot what it was. Jamie Vardy is what this club was. Non-league footballer at 23, Premier League champion at 29, the most improbable story in English football. And he was wearing blue when it happened. That's what Vichai built, a place where the impossible wasn't a marketing line. It was the actual result. Vichai understood something most owners never do. He donated to hospitals without a press release, prayed on the pitch with monks, handed out free cake on his birthday. Not business decisions, acts of love for somewhere he belonged. When he died, Leicester lost the only person who understood that those things were the foundation, not the decoration. Ranieri said of winning the title, "It was a dream. Maybe I was sleeping." He wasn't sleeping. The miracle happened. Nobody can take that away. The question is whether anyone left at this club understands why. Leicester fans, do you think this club has lost its identity for good, or is there a way back? Tell us in the comments.